Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody, welcome to 321 Ghost. I'm your host with the silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal Natalie. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. We're going through the month of May. It's your birthday month. Very
Sure
excited.
is.
So you got full reign of the movie choices. Outside of course, we are not going to move our franchise series along,
Yeah.
but I think New Nightmare is a good one.
Oh, it's perfect. It's one of my favorites. So, you know, it's
We did May not last week. That was an interesting one. And then
for May.
now, yeah. Wow. Can you believe it? And today we are, funny enough, talking about another franchise, but we are not doing this like we've done the other franchises because we did the first movie before
Mhm.
we came up with the idea of like, we should just do a franchise every month.
Mhm.
So we couldn't just not do the rest of these movies, right? Or at least the sequel.
Yeah, I don't think we've committed to doing the rest of them, but because the next one is straight to video.
Yeah. Not to knock that. There's a lot of gems that go straight
Oh
to
yeah.
video,
Oh yeah.
especially in horror. But
Mhm.
today we are talking about the 1995 sequel to the Five Boo, Platinum Boo,
Platinum Boo.
not even Platinum Boo, but also fucking, what do we give Tony Todd our first year?
Industry
Like,
Legend of the Year.
yes, Industry Legend of the Year award winner, Tony Todd, rest in peace.
Mhm.
We are doing Candyman 2,
Mhm.
Farewell to the Flesh. Um, Natalie, I had seen this movie once, and it was
Oh,
about, must have been 25 years ago. I don't think I watched it in the 90s.
interesting.
But I do always, it's just like a lot of movies, I remember that cover,
Oh
like the
yeah.
VHS cover, a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I watched it then, and then I had honestly never revisited it until tonight when I watched it before recording.
Hmm.
But I want you to share, why are we doing this movie? And share your experiences with it.
Well, I've definitely seen it more than you. I can't say how many times, but I did watch this in the 90s. I think I watched this multiple times as a kid. I loved the first one more, but no knocks to Tony Todd. I think this is all in production and all the things that he's not as scary in this movie as he is in the first one, in my opinion.
No.
Um, so I watched this one more because I really liked Candyman and he still scared me, but like the visceral fear that I experienced as a child when watching Candyman and like Tony Todd's voice also is deeper
Hmm.
in the first film. So he just scared me so much. So this was like a palatable way for me to watch Candyman. I have not watched this movie though. I mean, gosh, it's probably been at least 10 or 15 years around there because I remember I went back and watched um all three of the original ones
The remake?
before the remake was even a thought.
Or like
So
reboot or requel, I guess.
yeah, it's more of like a requel. So I had watched all three way before that was even going to be a thing. So that's why I didn't rewatch them again. I only watched the original Candyman before I watched the remake. So
Mm.
I've seen this one a few times and I chose it because mostly because I wanted another excuse to just talk about Tony Todd because it feels like it's been since Final Destination 7, so too long already.
Probably died about a year ago.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been around a year. Um, but also just why not? Just kind of casually if we decide to run through this franchise. I like when we have these random one-offs of a movie and their sequels instead of doing it as a whole series. So
Yeah.
why the heck not?
Yeah. I love that. So this movie is directed by Bill Condon. This was one of the earlier movies that he has directed, but a lot of people probably know him better from, well, I guess I've never seen Gods and Monsters, but
Me
he,
either.
he won an Oscar for that. And that was the movie he made right after. Farewell to the Flesh. And
Hmm.
then the movie he made after Gods and Monsters was Chicago,
Ah, I love Chicago.
and which I think I've probably only seen once, but I think
It's
it was
so
in
good.
the theater. Um, and then he did Dreamgirls, the one with Eddie
That was a big
Murphy.
one.
Hmm. Did Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. They were like,
Gross.
we need to close this series with a bang. Nobody is taking us seriously. We need to get some like real credibility in here. Let's get fucking the Dreamgirls guy and let's really send this off with a bang. I've for the record, I have like with a straight face suggested that we do Twilight as a franchise, and Natalie has very rightfully shut me down, so you can thank her for that.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
gonna happen.
so this movie feels a little flat.
Mhm.
Um, doesn't have, I don't know, just like it's not scary. You mentioned that, or like, and certainly Tony Todd
Mhm.
isn't as scary, but
I don't think that's his fault because he's like, before I shit on this movie, he's incredible as always. Like,
oh
he's
yeah,
giving it his fucking all. It's all in the way that the movie is shot and the connection with the main actress isn't the same.
feels so just kind of flat and kind of
Hmm.
like if this movie does feel like a long 95 minutes,
Yeah.
but but it is one of those things where it's just like, yeah, like, people say, oh, pizza, even bad pizza is good pizza. It's like, what, if it's a, you
Yeah.
know, like if we got Tony Todd with a hook spitting some bees, like
Hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, and it goes back to what we said about him being one of the reasons why he's Industry Legend of the Year, when our first year of awarding that, is
Hmm.
because no matter what you're watching, you could be watching the worst movie you've ever seen. If Tony Todd comes on the screen, you're immediately like, okay, I'm in this now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
in it because he's so incredible. But I had never really fully realized why I thought this movie fell flat until recently and did some research on some of the backstory of it. And I think the backstory tells a lot of why this movie feels meh.
Do tell.
Okay. So Bernard Rose, he was the writer and director of the first film.
Okay.
When they first finished the original Candyman, the producers fucking hated it. They were like, this movie is so much worse than we ever could have imagined. They released it and it did way better than they thought. And then they were like, oh my God, it's so great. We love this movie. And also, fun side fact, Eddie Murphy was supposed to play Candyman.
Oh,
And
and
they
so,
decided to try to find someone cheaper because it wasn't in the budget.
oh, okay.
They wanted to cast him.
Star of Dreamgirls.
Yeah. So he eventually got to it.
Yeah.
Um, but Bernard Rose, they hit him up immediately and they were like, bro, we need you to write a sequel to this movie. Like, stat, we got to get this out. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So he makes this whole script that doesn't have Candyman in it. It's like a
Oh, like a season of the
Halloween,
witch
yes,
situation.
like a
Yeah.
Halloween season of the witch situation where he was like, we could just do like an anthology series of urban myths, like Candyman. Like it lives within the same universe, but it's a different, myth that we're.
And then you have the Marvel team up at the
Yes,
end. Yeah.
exactly. So
He finds
he
it. Tony Todd finds he's got his hook and then Thor's hammer.
Yeah, so he gives this script to them and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. They're like, "What the fuck is this? Where's Candyman?" And he's like, "No, no, like Candyman's not in this. Like it's just, it's a little thing I'm trying to channel his John Carpenter, which we saw how well that
Hmm.
worked." And they said, "No, thank you," and found a new writer. So they didn't even let him take a second shot at it.
Damn.
Brutal, right? I was like, at least give him a chance to just write another Candyman movie. So I think that's why this feels almost like family tree rehashing of what was a love story and what a tragic love story, which made it more interesting and like weirdly sexy for some of us.
Hmm.
So I think that has a lot to do with why it fell flat. I never knew that. Honestly, a quick Google is what got me there. So if anybody wants to know more, there's very little on YouTube about the behind the scenes of this movie. So um
I'll have to check that out. Google.
yeah, yeah, Google dot com.
Oh,
Make sure you put a dot com. But yeah, there's only like a few clips of Tony Todd talking about this movie, and he actually really enjoys this movie. So we can't say too many bad things about it because we do not want to disagree with Sir Tony Todd.
do you think he got to negotiate again the cost for all the bee stings? Because he still had a bunch of bees on his face.
That was not disclosed for the second film. They didn't share anything about that. I'm sure they probably just wrote it into his salary because they figured it would probably be cheaper. But what I did hear in one of the behind the scenes videos was that there were still a lot of bee stings for everybody involved because there's a lot of bees like with other actors in this
Right.
one compared to in the first one. It's a lot of just Tony Todd with the bees. And yeah, a lot of people were stung by bees.
Ugh.
One on camera,
Oh, jeez.
the slushy guy,
Oh,
the
yeah.
snow cone guy, when the bees are coming at his face, he like winces at a certain point, like he actually got stung by a bee in that moment. So that sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who else do you got in this movie? So you've got Kelly Rowan, who I've not seen anything else she's in. Some people who are fans of the OC would tell me that she is
Oh.
a person in there. She was in 93 episodes of that.
She would have probably been
Someone's mother,
someone's mom, but probably, yeah, she probably would have been someone's mom, but probably actually too young to be their mom.
maybe. Did you
Yeah.
watch that show?
I never watched it like commit like if it was on the TV, like I'd leave it in the background, but I couldn't tell you a name of a character. I actually kind of want to watch it though, because it seems very soapy.
I think it is very soapy.
Could be fun.
The only other person I recognize is William O'Leary, who plays Ethan, the brother, who is just that guy who's just like I feel I see him in everything.
What else is he in? I didn't
Mm,
recognize him.
The only, but I like looked it up, his IMDb. The only thing I recognize him from is so there was a direct-to-TV like kind of sequel to Alf. Like it was like, following up from the last like kind of depressing episode of Alf,
That already sounds great.
right? And he was also Tim Allen's brother in Home Improvement, and that must have been where I probably seen him most because I,
Probably.
yeah, that was a show my mother and I connected on quite a bit.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cute.
she loved Home Improvement, very much connected with the
Mm,
matriarch in that, and I
mm.
think being the mother of all boys
Oh yeah, that's
with
true.
all with
I could see why your mom be into that. Yeah.
all with uh all with kind of like neon like patterned shirts and mullets in the 90s. Yeah, absolutely. I think she even had that haircut too.
Oh yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
So,
the only other person that I recognized was the guy who plays Purcell, Michael Culkin, because he's in the first movie.
oh, right. Okay. Good for you. I did
Oh,
not
did you
know
not
that.
realize that that was him?
I mean,
He's the only survivor from the first movie. They were like, we got to bring somebody back
yeah.
other than Candyman.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm glad that as the final girl of that movie, I guess it goes in the tradition of your Friday the 13th and Nightmares to
He
then kill
can
off your final girl in the next one.
Honestly, he deserves the death that he got because he could fuck right off because he was the one at the table, at the dinner table that was telling Helen, like, oh, what a fucking tired story that you're investigating with Candyman. Like, that's what you're gonna write about, and was definitely shitting on these two bright young female academics, and then completely stole her idea and wrote a book on it.
Dude, like that's for fucking real. Like, I mean, dude,
Mm-hmm.
low key, that happened to my wife in grad school where there was this like mentor of hers, and she was like sharing like her idea for this and this and
Oh
this, and they're like,
no.
oh, okay, that is kind of interesting.
They're
And then
like, don't pursue that. That's stupid.
yeah, and then they just go do the whole fucking same
Uh-huh.
thing. It's fucking wild. So I was like, if anything, people probably relate to that, and probably then cheer on this dude's fucking death.
Oh yeah.
Um, so which I guess is a good avenue to hop right into this movie.
Hmm.
Um, because I looked, this is one of the few movies that on IMDb there just straight up isn't an awards section. Uh,
Oh,
so, aw.
that's so sad.
So, you know what? Maybe let's conjure up a 3, 2, 1 Ghost Award for something that we like about this movie, and we'll come
All
up with
right,
that at
we'll
the end.
figure it out.
Yeah, see
I
it.
I actually think this movie starts strong. I love this like opening with
Yeah.
Purcell and the book.
Who is basically catching us up all to the backstory, right?
Hmm.
So which again, you get this in the beginning, so I don't understand why Tony Todd has to kind of like re-explain this. Like
Yeah,
at the
they
end, I'm like,
explain
yeah,
it
yeah, we know what
twice.
happened. Yeah.
They
And
explain
we know it in
his
the first movie
they explain his story twice, not to mention in the first movie, but then they don't explain the lineage quite in
at
detail
all.
enough for me. Yeah. And also another random thing to note, he was not a slave in the first movie. I don't know if you realize that either.
Well, I don't think he was from New Orleans either, was he?
I don't think so. So they what I remember, and I guess I'll have to go back and check, but I know he definitely was not a slave. He was a painter and a poet. So he was like known for being very romantic. That's why he's so good with his words when he's talking about pain and love and flesh and death and all that shit. So he
Farewell
was,
to that.
yeah, he was uh, supposedly romantically involved with this woman, and that's why they killed him. But I mean, clearly he was. But I mean, come on, you're gonna say no to if Tony Todd, this sorry, side tangent. If Tony Todd was painting me, yeah, I would absolutely let him impregnate me as well.
Yeah.
Come on now. Sorry, everyone. Anyway, the whole point is he was not a slave in the original movie.
So Professor Phillip, our lone survivor, our final girl from the first movie, is stealing the valor of his proteges, grad student proteges, telling everybody basically about the backstory and then the events of the first film. Even mentions
Hmm.
Helen, who people in the area believed, is was Candyman or is the new one.
Yeah.
So, um, I do appreciate where someone in the crowd just goes, "All right, bitch, prove it."
Yeah.
Fine, then do it.
Yeah.
Because they ask him, like, do you believe? And he's like, oh, no, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be like,
I'm
but
just.
that's the end of our presentation. Bye. That's what I would do.
And then there's that fake out with the dude with the hook that, like, he
I love
brings,
it.
I guess,
Yes.
to every, lecture or like book reading, I guess.
Love it.
Um, which I'm like, is that the first time someone's challenged him to do that? Like, to do the
Maybe.
ritual?
I will say, I think that's a really dope book cover that it's like reflective and
Oh,
the
oh,
font of Candyman is so good.
it's the 90s. Like those were the coolest fucking comics to have, were the holographic reflective
Yeah.
ones. That's how you knew that shit was like, this is
Mm-hmm.
it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who knew all of my holographic fucking Venom 328s weren't going to hold their value? Who knew?
That's
So
too bad.
so after this lecture, Professor Phillip gets intercepted by this dude, who he thinks is a fan. So he's like ready to like sign his book. But actually, so this is Ethan, um, the scorned son of this dude who was murdered, trying to investigate all of this, and then
Mhm.
basically blaming Phillip, saying like, you're the one that fucking told him, you know,
Mhm.
maybe told him it wasn't real or told him it was, but basically just encouraged him, and feels that
Mhm.
like that Professor Phillip drove, the events that essentially killed his dad.
Yeah,
But he said it in a much more condensed way.
for sure. He says
Yeah.
it in a way where you're like, what's happening?
Yeah. To which, yeah, the professor just like, hey, fucking your dad brought that on himself. I have nothing to do with this.
Mhm.
See you later, buddy. Um, and then Ethan follows him to a bar, tries to fight him. Ethan gets thrown out. Now, none of this even fucking matters, and we've seen this. And he said the name fucking 5 times in the mirror when that fucking person in the crowd challenged him. Um, I love. Little did she know what she started the turn of events. Yeah, bitch, fucking you do it. Say
Yeah,
it.
literally. Sh-
Just
So many people died from a dare.
just causing chaos and living rent free. Just
Honestly,
going to
though,
sleeping easy. I love that for her.
I feel like Candyman is such a good example of like a dare gone wrong because that's always how it starts. Is somebody's like, "Oh, okay, you don't believe it, huh? Go ahead and try it." Uh, so there's that, but it also brings up the question of what constitutes as a mirror again, because we talked about this in the Candyman episode of like us saying his name multiple times. You counted how many times, what was it, like 40 something that I had said his name? And you were like, does it count as saying it in your reflection of Zoom? I don't think it does because it's a camera that you're looking into, whereas the book cover is a reflective surface. But I don't know. This movie makes me feel like it should be a glass mirror. So I think it's complicated, and I think Candyman gets to play with the rules a little bit.
Well, and that's why I like say in the requel, like I was almost expecting that to be like I'm glad it wasn't, but like they just stuck to regular mirrors and reflective
Yeah,
surfaces. But
yeah.
it's one of those things where like I'm not gonna challenge it.
No,
So and and I am not gonna I'm not if he shows up and says, hey, I'm sorry, buddy, them's the rules, Zoom counts. You see if you
yeah.
see yourself, which I do in
Yeah.
my little square talking to you,
Mhm.
I don't think I would go like, that's not fair. I'd be like, yeah, fuck, okay,
You'd be
fine.
like, damn it. Okay, I can see where you're
Like,
coming from.
okay, I
Yeah.
get it. We're in a new millennium. I get it. Yeah, fine.
Well,
All right,
and
you got me. I'm hooked.
the other thing that he also gets to kind of play with rules is do I show up immediately or do I kind of tease you for a couple days like, "Oh, is that me in the corner or is it a coat just hanging from a little coat hanger?" Like he
Is
gets to
that me in the
choose.
corner? Is that me in the spotlight?
This is stupid. Like he gets to decide. So I like that he kind of fucks with this guy a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe for this reason, so this is in New Orleans instead
Mhm.
of Chicago, like the last one. And maybe that's why. Like he comes out, he gets summoned, and he's like, oh, come on, it's Mardi Gras. Like,
I'll lay my hat here.
yeah, let me throw some beads at some ladies, see if I get some flashes.
Yeah. Some
But
white ladies
yeah,
specifically.
yeah, on my way I'm gonna find Caroline. I'm gonna find her.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. Danny can't have a little fun. That's
Yeah.
okay. So, like I said, it's too late for Professor Philip. After a quick fake out, it's just some other dude. Um, Also, twice in this movie that there's like a fake out that you think it's Tony Todd, but it's just another black
Another
guy
black guy.
that like that. I was like, is this gonna be like a source of like jump scares? Is white people just seeing black people and thinking it's Candyman? It's
Yeah, 'cause,
terrible.
like let's be honest, the racism goes deep. Like
A
even if
little
they
bit.
didn't think it was Candyman, they'd be like, "Ooh,
Yeah. Oh, geez.
these people at least would."
Um, yeah, Philip gets murdered. He's done.
Hmm. He
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah, that's what you get. I'm sorry, just dudes in the 90s with ponytails. Mm-mm.
Ugh,
Just don't trust it.
clearly a villain.
Clearly. So, we also have this radio host, Kingfish, who's
Ugh.
like, I it would have been nice to see this character maybe just once, like at the end, like doing a little wink to the camera.
I think they do show him. I think they
Do
do show
they?
him once. Yeah, he's at the at one of the parties or like one of the parades. He is on a balcony and you see him talking into the microphone
Okay.
for like a split second.
But basically saying like, hey everybody, it's Mardi Gras, it's a carnival, farewell to the flesh. Did you confirm? Is that what that means? Does carnival mean
Okay.
that? I mean carne, so it means like flesh, meat.
It's not as simple as he put it because he says farewell to the flesh, but it directly translates from medieval Latin to flesh farewell. But what it's
Okay.
referring to isn't your like flesh coming off. It's referring to removing meat or like saying goodbye to meat, basically preparing for Lent because a lot of people give up meat.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
that's what it like.
close
So it's
enough.
not as creepy as it sounds. It's actually more kind of maybe a little bit religious, but I was glad he wasn't completely lying because I was like, that sounds like some bullshit to me. So I immediately looked it up, but he
Yeah.
wasn't lying.
Um, so he's like, hey everybody, here's a little bit of history. Have fun. And also be safe. There's murderers happening. Just all over the place. And it's probably that ghost with the hook hand.
Yeah,
So
so
all
just
right, take
don't be
care.
spending too much time in the mirror, everybody.
Now back to your pop hits at the top of the hour. Um, we also get introduced to our main character, Annie, who
Mm.
is an art
Mm.
teacher. Um, she is, you know, learning about each, just teaching her kids art, I guess, warding
Yeah.
off fights, things like that.
Yeah.
Letting one kid just paint all over a mirror. That's where you
Ugh.
get your other fake out, and it's just like the principal just being like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I work here. Can you stop doing that? I'm your
Yeah.
boss."
Like the janitor's been complaining.
Yeah. Um, finds out that her brother Ethan is been arrested for murder, under suspicion of murder, right?
Yeah.
She picks up her mother on the way to the
Mhm.
station. Her mother also, dude, fucking Annie makes a fucking side comment to her mom about her drinking, and the mom's like, "Well, I have cancer, so who cares?"
She's like,
Um,
I'm a fucking drink.
which I don't think the cancer is ever brought up again, is it?
She talks a lot about death and like death
Mm,
being a return and things like that because Candyman delivers that line right back to her.
right.
So, yeah. She's um she's a little bit of an industry legend.
Yeah, what's she been in?
So, she was in Alien.
Hell yeah. Veronica Cartwright, by the way.
She was also in The Witches of Eastwick, if you've ever seen that.
Hmm.
She was also in The Birds, Invasion of Body Snatchers, some older stuff. So she's got some horror on her resume. And then a lot of things I haven't seen, but some of them are horror as well.
And then
Oh, and
got some.
she's in Scary Movie 2 as well.
Love that. And got some M&Ms
Sh-
for X-Files.
she's the mom in that opening scene where they're the exorcist scene
Uh-huh.
in Scary Movie 2. Now I remember that. I totally forgot about that. So I'm gonna give her a little industry legend award for that.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Veronica Cartwright. We salute you.
And I like her character in this. She's probably the best
Yeah.
actor other than Tony Todd.
Yeah. And then we also have Annie's husband, Paul, the chef.
Ugh.
Um, oh, really? I saw that goatee and I was like, oh, Natalie is probably all over this.
It's not his appearance. I actually do think he's kind of cute. It's like he's just such like I'm clearly the husband that's gonna die
Oh
like
yeah.
type character. And I think he actually dies too soon, but his acting isn't great. And just his reactions to things are just not believable. So yeah, he's just kind of goofy.
They make it to the police station through, swarms of news reporters. So the police think that Ethan killed Professor Phillip, and then
Mhm.
also think like, hey, we can just fucking wrap this bow up real good. If we have, do we have any other murders we can pin this guy on? His
Mhm.
dad died suspiciously. Fuck, we'll just say he did it.
Mhm.
Easy.
He
Um,
confesses.
well, and then he ends up confessing, right? So,
Hmm.
which, there, I mean, false confessions are still,
Hmm.
very much a thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So, but then again, like even, Ethan's claiming to have done it, but Annie's not really buying it. She's like, you worshipped our father. What do you mean? You couldn't have. And I'm like, I don't know. I would be like, I don't know. Maybe I'd still be like, I mean, if he's saying he did it, like, okay.
And
I'm like,
also, if you can say that someone worshipped someone else, I feel like that is like totally grounds for murder. Like you
yeah,
worship
100%.
someone, like you idolize them, you're obsessed with them maybe. If they upset you, you might take it harder than you would with someone else. So,
Yeah.
mm, could be could be murder.
So Annie's demanding answers from Ethan, being like, it's fucking bullshit. You got to tell me, like, what happened? Like, and what
Hmm.
happened the night fucking dad died? And he's not fucking having it. He smashes a mirror. And I did think it was funny because you see it's like a two-way mirror, and the detectives are behind him. It's like
Yeah.
almost just like, oh shit.
And they
You
weren't
could you
supposed
could
to
see
be
us.
there. She
Right.
says that. She's like, we're not supposed to be in here while they're having like a private conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that detective's kind of a dick, the dude one,
Oh, yeah. And where is he from? Like, why does he sound like he's from Brooklyn and everyone else is from the South?
right? I don't know. So that night, speaking of Paul kind of sucking, Annie's just kind of, recounting her trauma. And Paul's like, hey, how about let's just focus on the good stuff? Come on, babe. Like, but Annie's not letting it go. Um, so she's also a painter, in addition to being
Hmm.
an art teacher. Yeah, I think just being a painter I don't, well, I guess Helen wasn't a painter, but I don't know.
No, and she's painting a picture of herself.
Oh, I thought it was of her mother.
Oh, I thought it was herself because her haircut is exactly the same and her mom's hair was a bit longer.
I think they look essentially the same, especially in paint form. But
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, I guess painting
Yeah.
herself. So, she's also looking through old family photos and, being like, hey, shit still doesn't add up with Ethan. I want to go back to our childhood home, which probably sits on a very valuable plot of land,
Hmm.
in New Orleans that has just sat abandoned for who knows
Yeah.
how long, 20 years, maybe.
I got money.
Yeah, right. So Paul's like, "All right, let's go." And then, it's just been abandoned. No one's been in it since like they moved out since the dad died, but it's been all like graffitied and like grown
Hmm.
over and shit. Um and
And
then
there's people squatting there.
a few squatters, which I mean like
Mhm.
fuck, that seems like a fucking
Dream.
awesome situation, right?
Yeah.
Just living in like living in like the fucking haunted mansion, you
Yeah.
know? So they're walking through the house, she's recounting her memories to Paul. And then finds paintings of, this fucking dude with a big old fucking hook
Hmm.
and bees coming out of his mouth and shit. Um, and then I guess up in the attic is this shrine.
Yeah. I want to talk about this shrine a little bit.
Who's keeping those candles lit? Is it the
That,
squatters?
thank you.
I
That's
always
exact.
think about whenever I see
Yes.
candles somewhere, I'm like, who's keeping that shit lit?
That's so many candles. Like, there
Yeah,
have been times during the winter where I have like 5 or 6 candles in the house, and I'll forget to light one. And then by the end of the night, I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't get the full, like, ambient experience because I didn't light all these candles. Can you imagine having like 50 to 100 candles just lined up? They also try to recreate that scene where Helen walks through his mouth in the first movie. So there's that painting with his mouth open. She walks through that like his mouth hole, which sounds weird. But there's like a little door that opens in this one. She walks through it, and I was like, ooh. It's like we didn't need to do that. It felt really dumb. But I do like the way the shrine looks. I think that's a really badass painting. Like if I were Candyman, I'd be looking at it like, good, good job, squatters. Oh, you did a really nice job.
dude, if I was Tony Todd, like all of these drawings and paintings and pictures of me, I'd be like, can I have all of these?
Yeah.
Like,
I know, just keep like a little like hall of these beautiful paintings that they made of him looking badass.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. So they find the shrine. Not really necessarily the answers they're looking for,
Hmm.
or but maybe some confirmation that something fucking weird's going on. So
Hmm.
Paul goes and drops Annie off at work at the school, just in time to break up a fight between these kids. You've got Matthew, who is painting and drawing creepy ass pictures of
Hmm.
basically the backstory, none of like full hook and bees situation, but at least like this
Hmm.
dude getting like beaten and then his hand cut off, by a mob.
Yeah,
So, and
very,
the other kids are like, we know this legend, we are not fucking having it, and then just fucking
yeah.
have it out like in a fist fight.
I
Just,
don't I don't blame them, honestly.
oh, I don't either.
Something important to note too that happens back at the house is Annie so casually mentions like, oh, like that's the slave quarters. We weren't allowed to go in there as kids. And like neither of them react to it at all. And like I'm not from the South, so it's very different, being from the Northeast, but and then living on the West Coast. But I was thinking about, I was like, wow, that's so crazy. Like, I bet a lot of people can just casually say, like, oh, like my family like lived on this plantation. And it was just like common knowledge that maybe your grandfather, your great grandfather definitely had slaves. But
Hmm.
I just think it's important to mention the slave quarters because it is ignored for a very long time in this movie. So
Well, I think
I'm
it's
gonna
just to
throw that
set
out
it up
there.
and just mention like, oh, that exists. So you
Yeah,
have some concept of it at the end of the movie when they're there.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But like,
But
could we have investigated it like in Act Two?
right.
But we're not there yet. It's okay.
So Annie. The kids, she's like, "What's going on?" Like what the fuck are these drawings? Like, what are you all talking about? And so they basically explain the lore to her. Um, and just like just fucking reckless. Just it shocks these children, which he just turns to the mirror and just says
Mhm.
it 5 times. She's like, "I don't believe in this." And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's not about you fucking art teacher
Yes.
to
Yes.
tell me that you don't believe and then just like essentially just dare us because clearly also Candyman has changed. Well, I can't remember for certain in the last one, but has changed his rules where it's like I don't care who reads my name and who doesn't. I'm just gonna start popping up and just killing people.
He can kill people that haven't said his name. Like you're summoning him
Yeah.
is the thing. So once you like summon him, then he can kind of kill whoever's around you until he's resolved whatever little fucking game or situation he's playing. But that's real fucked up. If these kids are that scared, as their teacher, you should not be doing this. Like, even if you don't believe it, like, don't try to scare them because your best case scenario is you scare the shit out of them. Your worst case scenario is you get murdered in front of them.
Yeah.
Like, what? Don't do that. Poor kids.
So that night, Annie and Paul back at their place, they have sex. Um which is important for us to know. Um,
Yes.
and and now knowing it makes sense why Tony Todd just kind of strolls around the hallway and waits for them
Yeah.
to finish.
He's like, I'm gonna need them to conceive.
Yeah, I'm gonna his little hook poking holes in all the condoms. Terrible. So Um, so he waits for them to finish, and Annie goes to, post-coital visit to the bathroom, right? And he's just waiting there for being like, you know, we've got a journey together. I can't
Yeah.
do a good
I
can't,
hang
you know.
I hang out in bathrooms a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. When you're just hanging out in women's bathrooms and talking like this, it's
He there's always a mirror in the bathroom.
oh yeah. No,
So
100% makes
yeah,
total sense why he would be there. But um clearly this journey does not involve Paul because
no.
Paul, who's like, I mean, I would have been like, here, like I guess I get why you waited for us to have sex, but like, could you let me, like, he was making, it was like crepes or something?
He had
Like
dessert
dessert
and
crepes?
wine. Yeah,
Oh,
like
let her have that.
at least he got laid, but like maybe like let them have their dessert and wine and then be like, all right, now I really gotta kill this guy. Sorry.
Yeah, when Paul was just like, you ready for dessert? Like, I thought it was like him trying to be like, you want to go another round kind of situation, but
Well,
no,
because she says again,
yeah,
but
when
he
he's
meant
like,
really like real dessert. Honestly, that's where Paul wins me over. I'm like, okay, like
maybe I,
post
maybe I
post
do want
sex
to go again
dessert,
now.
like come on, like this is amazing.
So, Paul, just with a dish of desserts and wine, just gets hooked right in the back, lifted up in the air. Fucking, he's dead. He's gone.
He's super dead.
Yeah. So now we see Annie and her mother at the police station, basically telling the detectives that a ghost with a hook hand came into her bathroom and murdered her husband.
And they're like,
Um,
shh, okay.
they're well, but they're like, again, they're just trying to find the convenient way out of this. They're like, "Are you sure you just don't want to say it's your brother? Because we already got him here, and
Yeah.
we can. Who cares who killed? Who cares who killed who? We could just tag a few more on him. It's
Yeah.
okay. We got him
He's
already.
already in here for life.
He's already admitting to stuff we know he didn't do.
Yeah. We
So
have
let's just
no
do it.
real evidence.
Otherwise, did you do it? Because I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah.
usually should be your first question. Is like,
Mhm.
did you do this?
And honestly, for Annie's sake, it'd be like, you know what? Maybe it was my brother. Maybe it
Yeah,
was. Oh, you say he was in the cell? Maybe not.
wild things happened. Who knows? Um, that night she stays with her mom, who is also still just very clearly denying, you know, when Annie's just like, do you know about this? Do you know what the hell Ethan's talking about? Do you know about what these children are talking about? And the mom's just like, oh no, just shut your dumb little sweet face. Go to sleep. Shut up.
It's very much giving Nancy Thompson's mom in Nightmare on Elm Street. Is her name Marge?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's giving Marge.
Yeah.
Drinking,
So
lying,
yeah, drinking, lying, and then
tell
having
him to
this
go to
like
bed.
the secret locked um drawer of
Of
photos.
evidence.
Yeah.
Like can people just throw away their fucking evidence if it's that deep dark of a secret that you don't want people to know? Don't be keeping mementos. What are you
Well,
doing?
especially if you're gonna leave the key sitting like right on top.
Oh my God.
What's the point of
This is
locking
so
it if you're
dumb.
gonna leave the key just sitting right there on top of it the whole
Yeah.
time? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, fucking dude, Annie's let him loose. So, haunting her dreams and shit, saying fucking like, swallow the horror, let it nourish you, saying shit like that where you're like,
Honestly, sir,
oh, is that
sir.
working?
It's just because it's Tony Todd.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so creepy, but it's so great.
Oh my gosh. Um, so the next morning, like I get the kids from her class figured out her mother's address and show up to
Love that.
say, hey, that creepy kid. Speaking of seeing the last person alive under suspicious circumstances, um, that kid we were all beating the shit out of, he kind of vanished.
Ooh.
Can you help us? Because you seem to be really good at being clearly, or at least deserving of being implicated in something and somehow not being arrested for it. But they think, fuck, I think it's our guy
Mhm.
that took Matthew. So she goes to certainly compared to her mother's place, a far less affluent side of town, and then
Mhm.
finds this boy's father, who's a reverend.
Mhm.
So, and he was just like, yeah, he was just getting art supplies and he just fucking vanished. I don't know. And then he goes upstairs and paints stuff, and also his mother's dead, but I guess that's connected. I guess it was about the same time. He started painting all these angry things and being weird. Huh.
A weird coincidence.
That is a weird coincidence. So she's like, "Can I see those paintings?" And then they go up and find, obviously,
More awesome Tony Todd paintings.
more awesome Tony Todd paintings, which I'm just like, yeah, that's where I got the idea. It's like, fuck, I hope he was asking for all of this because what are they going to do with it?
Yeah. I'm
Right?
sure somebody would buy it.
Like, I understand like some props probably get, reappropriated to other
Mhm.
things, I'm sure, but yeah, come on.
I couldn't keep one of those in my house. I'd be too scared.
Yeah. And so, of course, looking at these pictures, like the Reverend, he's like, "Yeah, I know the story. I know what happened. But it's not true, any of this." But like Annie is pretty convinced by now, I
Oh
think.
yeah. She got on board real fast.
So next day she's like, "Okay, Ethan, like, bro, like really, can you tell me what's going on? Can you please?" Cause also I may have fucked up a little bit and summoned this dude with a
Well,
hook hand, spitting
Ethan,
bees.
Ethan, if you would have just told her anything about this or just warned her, he doesn't even have to give her any context. Just don't ever say Candyman's name 5 times in front of a mirror. Just trust me.
Well, I mean, especially like once, yeah, like now, well, I guess where if he didn't want her to know, and by her not knowing, she would never say the name, right? Let alone in front of a mirror, let alone 5 times.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, we
cat's out of the
like
bag now.
for all the evidence that we have, we know that that story is not true, right? But have you ever said Candyman 5 times in front of the mirror?
No, absolutely not.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, at least you could tell her, like, just trust me. Don't do it.
If
And then
someone
maybe she
said,
would think twice.
really, without any context, if someone said to you as like, don't do this. Just hey, just trust me. Don't worry about it.
Kyle, if somebody fucking said to me, Natalie, don't say raspberry in front of the mirror 3 times, otherwise something bad is gonna happen, I wouldn't fucking say it.
Yeah, I mean, you can never be too sure, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Ethan finally shares the story of what happened to the dad the night that he died. Um, Basically, he finds him dead in front of the shrine, all gutted up. He
Mm-hmm.
says that, he had a plan to destroy him for good. But that plan clearly didn't work out.
So did the dad make the shrine? That was something that
Yes.
I okay, so that was his shrine. And
Yeah.
then the squatters keep it lit.
Yeah.
That's nice of
So
them.
Ethan is a little helpful in giving Annie a name, Thibodeau,
Hmm.
um, who she then sets off to go find, who sells snow cones in the French Quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just a snow cone man.
Just
Ti
snow cone
Thibodeau.
man.
Yeah.
Another fun behind the scenes fact that I learned because
Hmm.
I had noticed that this snow cone street felt very like dead. Like there's not a lot going on. Like it seems like maybe it's like really late. Apparently all of the extras like between scenes kept slowly disappearing because they kept going into bars and just ending up partying for the rest of the night. So they just like lost all of their extras by the time they even shot this scene, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, because who the fuck is selling snow cones out in the middle of the night?
Yeah, exactly.
I
So weird.
guess. Um, so he's like, "Hey, let me take you to my like oddities museum behind my snow cone stand, and kind of give you the lowdown of what's going on."
I love that.
Um, so he reveals this is where Daniel Robitaille.
Hmm.
Did we get this name in the last movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So again, this is still like told this backstory again, which
Hmm.
like I get it. I mean, yeah, maybe they added the fact that he, I guess, was a slave in New Orleans
Hmm.
rather than just like a painter in Chicago.
I
Um,
don't know that they ever said he was from Chicago or if
oh,
that the myth just spread like wildfire in like
I guess so.
lower income communities and projects because they wanted a boogeyman to blame some of the crime on was the working theory.
And Thibodeau reveals that Robitaille essentially his whole kind of ghostly mission, right? Because all ghosts have like some sort of like thing they need to accomplish, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before they can go to just like permanent paranormal universe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But is this mirror that belonged to his beloved, whose name's Caroline. And then basically we need to smash the fuck up out of this mirror. And I think that's gonna stop him. Because yeah, that'll
Hope
help.
so. Yeah.
Hopefully. So, but B, he's already said too much at this point because Robitaille appears, full fucking spitting bees mode, fills him with bees.
Oof. Yeah.
Ugh, yeah,
A
that's
lot of bees.
rough.
The practical effects are a little rough in this movie, I will say. I feel like they
Yeah,
didn't put as much into it as the first one.
yeah, and the computer generated effects also
Oh,
are
real
a little
rough.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like so Annie starts running away and getting chased through these Mardi Gras parades
Hmm.
by Robitaille, and the detectives show up, but it's way too late. You know, they find Thibodeau dead. Annie goes, she's like, I need to take a shower. Goes and takes a shower, and this is where we learn. He goes, "You've got a baby in you," or something like, "You've got a seed."
Yeah.
A daughter, which of course, like I roll my eyes because it's like, yep, okay, it's got to be part of her arc. She's pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then also like a daughter, to which I'm like,
I like that it doesn't come up again though. Or like it doesn't like affect her in any way,
not
really.
really. Well,
Yeah.
because she had sex like the night before, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
two nights before at best.
He can only tell because he's a spooky ghost.
Yeah, I would, and I just thought just how fun that would be to like hire Tony Todd for gender reveals.
He just dresses
You,
up as Candyman.
you have a life inside you. A girl, and then just and then
And they're
pink
phew.
confetti shoots out, you know. How much fun would that be?
That would
Because
be
I'm
really
just like,
fun.
how can you tell the sex of that baby like after
Yeah.
one day?
Yeah, come on now. I'm assuming he's just like seeing into the future or something. Uh,
Oh.
can we talk about his makeover?
Yeah.
You notice he's not wearing his like cool fur coat.
No.
Well, he's not in Chicago, so it might be a little too hot for that.
Yeah, it's a little warmer.
But but I I love the way Tony Todd looks as Tony Todd, but I don't like this look for Candyman. I like his original coat much better. Like there's I think it looks really nice. He looks very sleek. Almost like the like fashion Freddy makeover
Right,
from Living
right.
Nightmare. Like everything's like clean wool, you know. But do you like his makeover?
Yeah, he just, doesn't look as menacing. And then
Yeah.
also, he just does this. Obviously y'all can't see this because it's audio, but he does this like pose a little bit.
It almost looks like I'm trying to describe this pose that Kyle's doing, like a I present to you my
It's
hook.
either I present to you my hook, or it's a little bit like he's like ready to fight like in Street Fighter,
Yeah, where they're
to
idle when you're like going to choose a character.
right, right. So then she runs to the Reverend, right? And she's like, okay, I've got a name. He's from here, Daniel Robitaille. The Reverend's like, oh yeah, we keep a record of, all the slaves that were born here in the area. Sure, let's look it up. Um, and she's like, yeah, while they're doing this, like, yeah, yeah, I may have said a particular name in the mirror a few times in front of your child. Whoops. I
Whoops,
was being a little
daisy.
reckless. But yeah, they learned that Robitaille not only was born in New Orleans, but was born in the same house that Annie was born in, which is probably why the dad bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's always one of those spooky movies where you find out like the dad bought the house and moved everybody over there so he could do his paranormal research. See, I think that would have been a better movie of like the family moving into the house. I don't know.
Wait, but no, they already lived there if she was born there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, okay. What, so wait, so did the dad decide like, oh, since I'm already living in this house, I need to learn like about him and stop him and learn that the family's connected? I don't know.
No,
What?
I think this is how I interpret things. His family already had owned this property and this house. It's a large ass house, like plantation house, so probably
Oh, it was in the
like
family for yeah, a long time.
mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
the slaves were also in the family as well, like being passed to their kids, their grandchildren. And so that would make Daniel Robitaille born into slavery in their slave quarters
Right.
and her born into generational wealth in the beautiful house. So they already had it. That's my, oh, I think.
The Reverend also is like, hey, let me walk you to the graveyard and show you the grave of Daniel Robitaille, um, who, for somebody that was like pretty brutally murdered by a mob, they were like, hey, we're also going to give you a gravestone right next to this woman
Yeah, we're gonna go big. Why not?
and give you a nice one, put it right next to, the woman that you were in love with. Very
Well, no,
kind of
they
them.
put her next to him because he would be dead first.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Mhm.
And on her gravestone, it says Mother of Isabel, which I mean is still a little bit of a jump. Like she couldn't have had a child after this, but
Yeah.
this is implied that Isabel is the daughter of both Caroline and Daniel
Hmm.
Robitaille. My apologies.
Hmm.
So we're following all of this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Enough. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Uh,
it's a real thick plot for how much they like even talk about the plot.
right. And so at the police station, this is when the detective gets murdered for saying the name 5 times,
Like an idiot.
like a fucking idiot. But of course, like he's only like alone in a room with Ethan, right? So like I was thinking they're gonna think, oh fuck, dude, Ethan did this again.
Oh, for sure.
But throws him out a fucking window, lands on someone's desk. That's always pretty fun.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I think
I
it's my
do,
favorite death.
yeah, I'd say so. She still has all the little pieces of glass stuck in him
Hmm.
when he lands, and then always the reaction of like the person at the desk, like, oh,
Yeah.
oh boy.
And I
So
like the surprise, like when they're like surprised that, they're
yeah,
looking in the mirror and they have that surprise face. It's kind of fun.
Ethan makes a break for it, but like barely makes it to the stairs and gets shot
Oof.
dead. So
Yeah.
by Ethan. So didn't even get hooked.
No.
Mm. At least the other detective saw the footage and was like, "Oh no, that's clearly some supernatural shit. Something is lifting
Hmm.
him up in the air and just hooking him over
Yeah.
and over."
That's
So
the best
clearly
special
not Ethan.
effects. The best special effects of the movie
Oh yeah,
is the
definitely.
video. Yeah.
Annie goes to her mother's place and sneaks in, like while her mother's there, but sneaks upstairs because she's like, I know my mom's fucking hiding something in this little drawer with the
Hmm.
key sitting right on top of it, and then opens it up, finds the photos, and basically, I think finds Caroline in these photos, and then
Hmm.
basically surmises that her grandmother is the daughter of Caroline and
Hmm.
Daniel. So there you go. And the mom's just like, "There's the legend's not true. It's not this. Don't say the fucking name and blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I'm just trying to protect the family." To which, like, dude, he fucking shows up and just fucking kills his own granddaughter.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
I mean, if yes, but also he's a vengeful ghost. So there's that. So we're not thinking clearly. But also, she literally denied his existence, and probably Isabel just went white passing because it looks like she has dark hair but very light skin. It's a black and white photo, so it's kind of hard to tell, but she's definitely not blonde
Hmm.
like um Caroline, or I'm sorry, Annie and her mom are. So, you know, I think that that is a very problematic and sad thing that happens in real life as well, where people will deny Black lineage that they have
Hmm.
um, to, have the privilege of not, like having that white privilege for sure. So that's what his granddaughter was really locking into. So you know what? Fuck her. She gets a hook.
The police arrive way too late. Annie escapes through the stairs, obviously because this looks pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, damn, both siblings are killing people with hooks.
yeah, and then gets cut off by the other detective in the stairway,
Mm.
who's like, "Yeah, yeah, I saw that footage, man, and I think you're onto something. So I'm just gonna let you keep running, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna help you in any way.
Nope.
I'm just gonna tell
Just
you
get
I
out of
believe
here.
you and let you keep running, and then
Yeah.
that's the rest. I think she's in the movie.
Yep.
Um,
Super weird.
so I would have liked her to help out a little bit.
I
So let them
I
team up.
agree.
So she makes her way through like, the Mardi Gras parades, like, and it's like soaking wet and people are fucking having sex on the streets and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, like, so I've been to Mardi Gras.
Oh.
Um, and this is a long time ago, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think I saw anybody having sex in the streets, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it because there is just a lot of people and it's real
Yeah.
sweaty and there's a lot of
Yeah.
trash in that.
Yeah.
And literally I saw like lots of like rats
Yeah.
and I'm
They're
like,
they're
y-
feasting.
I'm like, you want to pull your parts out like in the open stench of
Ugh.
that? No, thank
No.
you. It just and
Mm-mm.
all
They're
just like
probably like real fucked up.
yeah, right. And then just all like the alcohol and like urine and vomit that have covered these
Ugh.
brick walls over the years, and you're just gonna
Gross.
press
Yeah, just
yourself against that.
your bare cheeks against those.
Ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so she goes back to the childhood home and she's like, I gotta find this fucking mirror and stop this shit for good. I like that she goes up and she's like, I don't even know which one it is. If I see a mirror, I'm fucking smashing it.
Yeah.
Smash, smash,
Smash
smash.
them all.
Yeah. She's like, fuck, fuck, where is it? And then this is when she looks over and then she sees the slave quarters and she's like,
Hmm.
I mean, you don't. I mean, okay, maybe check the shrine first, right? Because maybe the dad brought it there, but it would absolutely be somewhere like I'm thinking already before going in the house. I'm going to check over there too.
Before you even had a plan of smashing the mirror, it probably would have been a great idea to investigate the slave quarters just to see if there was any information that could help you about anything, any historical like information. Maybe there are more family photos. I don't know. But like she waited so long to go and investigate and then obviously like we could have done it during the day. But no,
Yeah,
she had to wait to the very fucking last minute.
absolutely. Um, so she goes and then, but she finds Matthew who's just
Yes,
hiding
she
there.
does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, "Hey, okay, cool. I'm glad you're alive, but you need to tell me. Do you know about this fucking mirror? Do you know where this is?"
Yeah.
So he leads her through this dilapidated, slave quarter house, which is even more just like destroyed and rotted through and grown over than the other house. Um, and then just immediately falls through the floors and into the little just little muddy bottom. It's gross.
It's
So
it's real gross and very unstable.
yeah, unhygienic.
Hmm.
So, but then she goes and but she does find the mirror because it's like basically just like mounted like in the like mud wall of this.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, I guess good point. And then of course this is when Robitaille shows up behind her and goes like, and really just gives away too much. Like just being like, oh yes, that mirror. Yes, that holds all my power and my soul. It lives in
Everything,
there.
my essence.
Everything is in that mirror.
So don't
So
touch it.
don't touch it. No
Leave it right
poking.
in that muddy wall.
Yeah. And also, I think he also should have led with um it also holds the entire foundation of the house together because when she pulls it off the wall, basically that's when like the walls cave in, fucking like
Yeah, he
uh,
could have even led with like, "Hey, listen, that mirror does have all of my power and it's the key to destroying me, but if you fucking pull that mirror, you're going down with me, sister, because it's gonna fucking collapse in here."
Oh yeah, dude, like Super Shredder at the end of Secret of the Ooze, just
Yes,
taking them down
exactly.
all together,
Mhm.
and or at least been like, hey, 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 whoa, 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 don't touch that. Hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Hey, hey, you got me. Look, I got a little overexcited killing
A
all those
little hook
people.
happy.
But to be fair, you didn't even give a fuck about that snow cone guy. You didn't even know he existed before 2 days ago. We both don't like the detective, so
Yeah.
we'll call that a wash. I mean, you really probably wanted me to kill him, right? Just say it. Just say
Yeah.
it.
I didn't kill your brother.
Yeah, I didn't. That was police brutality.
Yep.
I hear you. I hear you. See, we're kind of the same. Let's work together. But like to like what end? Like so he like wants her and the baby?
Yeah, which is kind of similar to what he wanted with Helen. He wanted Helen and that woman's baby.
Yeah, but he's not related to them.
No, but he was in love with Helen, like in a past life.
Yeah, that's I mean that's better than your great granddaughter,
Well,
who you
he's
have
not
your
taking
blood
her
related
as, he's
to,
not taking her as a
and your
bride.
great great great.
He's not taking her as a bride. I think he wants to like start his like lineage through them, through some spiritual journey. He obviously wants to kill her.
His lineage is already going through them. They're related.
Yeah, but he wants to do it in a like creepy murder way. Obviously, the same way he wanted to with Helen.
I
Everything leads to murder with him. Like
I
that's
I guess
vengeful ghost logic.
yeah, I shouldn't be trying to parse out like the logic of
No,
a
and that's the
vengeful
thing. The logic
hook
of this
ghost.
movie, like we'll get there when we're like
Yeah.
assessing, but the logic of this movie and Candyman's motivations are so weak.
Well, he's like, hold on, let me tell my backstory again. Maybe it'll hit
Yeah.
harder this time.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I mean, like, okay, I get it. Like,
We
that
know the
sucks.
story.
Like, I know that sucks. But like, why did you have to kill Paul? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He's a bad actor. I get it. But he was
He
bringing
has a
me crepes.
goatee.
Yeah, he has a goatee. He was bringing me dessert crepes. What the fuck? And he's just like, well, you know, I'm a reflection of their hatred, so it's them that did it, not me. And she's like, yeah, great story, dude. I'm gonna fucking smash the fuck up out of this fucking mirror.
Yeah.
So, like I said, she pulls it. It was holding the whole half of the building together. So
Mhm.
all the starts flooding and shit. But then I guess all of the school children arrive,
Yes, of course.
of course. Like
Why wouldn't they?
and they all found out how to get there or
And
I
have
guess they knew
means
where
of
the house was, but
transportation too.
yeah, who's giving them a ride over
I have
here?
no idea. These kids are they he said that somebody, oh, Paul said that those kids are really resilient.
Yeah,
Or
I
the oh no,
guess
it was the principal. The principal said they were really resilient and resourceful. So there you go.
I guess at least it's mentioned earlier in the movie to set that up for
Yeah,
later, I
he's like
suppose.
half of them can drive. They're fine.
100%. Yeah. So they rescue her. Of course, you know, Robitaille like raises himself like one last time. And she's just like, yep, break this fucking mirror. Sorry, buddy. And that makes him
Mhm.
kind of shatter, which there was a bit of like, people shattering effects that were
Yep.
happening in the 90s.
Hmm.
That was like really, and I think because like they're like,
Don't
hey,
they
we
use
can
it
make,
twice in Wishmaster?
I think they do in Wishmaster. And then there's
You get
another
to see
one.
Kane Hodder crack.
It was like an episode of like Young Indiana Jones, which I think was maybe the first example of it, but that was probably like someone related to ILM working on that, you would think. So it looked a little better. But yeah. So fuck
Mhm.
got it. Solved it. Did it. Fucking
Dunzo.
yeah, they go over to the Reverend who blesses them, just be like, hey, let's get any excess energy you picked up.
Any residual spookiness out of here.
Yeah, let's get all this out of here. And then she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna take your son and
Yeah,
take him
we're
by
gonna
the
go
hand and
walk.
just
We're
walk
gonna walk
off.
walk into the sunset together.
Yeah. So remember she is pregnant and does have this child who she ends up naming Caroline.
Which is
Um,
weird.
a little weird. And yeah, like kind of like the epilogue of the movie is just this kid starting to say the name in the mirror, and then she goes like, "Fucking stop that!" Just like hits her,
Yeah, and with no explanation.
just grabs a bar of soap. Just
But also, like, she's going through the family album with little Caroline. She's
right.
showing her the family, and she shows, you know, Daniel Robitaille, and it's like, oh, and that, was her father, grandfather, or whatever. And she's like, oh, like, what's his story? And she's like, I'll tell you his story, later. It's like, little girl, Caroline, you fucking little lying shit. Clearly, clearly, you know the story. And you're gonna sit here and play with fire? Also, Caroline's room is so fucking cool. Did you notice her blinds have like a haunted house on them?
It's pretty rad.
It's like a little haunted castle. And I was like, where do I get those blinds? It's like, those are so cool. But yeah, so clearly she's a creepy little girl. And she's like, I'm just gonna stir some shit up. Just summon
Yeah.
the Candyman in my room.
Oh,
Whatever. Fuck around and
fuck
find
that.
out.
Fuck that. But that's our movie.
That's our
Farewell to the flesh.
hmm
Jeez.
Yeah, it feels so long,
Yeah.
and it's not that long of a movie.
It's only 95 minutes with
Yeah.
trailers, or sorry, not trailers, but with
Mm-hmm.
credits. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna say I'm not upset I watched it.
No, I'm not. I'm never upset that I watched it. Like you said, it's still like fun to hear the Candyman story continue and to see it unfold.
Agreed. Natalie, what are the taglines for this movie?
Okay, there are two taglines for this movie.
Okay.
One of them is "Evil comes when you call his name."
5 times.
It doesn't specify how many times.
Then it's incorrect.
But the second one, however, does. Because this is the tagline from the first one. Dare you to say his name 5 times. Dot 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 again. So they're like, that one works. Just reuse that.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
They're fine.
There you go. Well,
But
the second one's well,
the
well, the
second
first
one's
one's no good.
accurate. Yeah, the first one isn't quite right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's our
Boo
taglines.
scores. Yeah.
Oof.
So for boo scores, I can go first.
Okay.
So, I so if this movie was on in a hotel, I'd leave it on.
Yeah.
100%. And
Good
you're right.
background hotel movie. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, like perfect. Like I don't have to pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to it.
Mm-hmm. You
Like
can just
what
look up when Tony Todd blesses you on the screen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um I would have liked Yeah, I mean, I guess they show like a little bit of kind of the New Orleans vibe, but maybe I would have liked to see a little bit more of it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Um, I like, yeah, maybe the acting isn't as good, but I mean, but Tony Todd's great. So,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly will
Always.
carry it. He, it's like, it's hard because it's like, I feel like I want to say he's not in it as much as I want him to be, but also I'm like, he's like not supposed to be. He's a ghost. He's like haunting and shit, you know?
Isn't he barely in the first one too? Like he doesn't show up, I think, for the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you get him sooner in this one.
It's like Jaws. And then like Jaws
Yeah.
2, you see him much sooner.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a good movie. It's interesting how the third one is direct to video because this one has a direct to video vibe to it.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
level of quality to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I do think it's enjoyable. I It gets a lot of mileage out of the score and Tony Todd. I know it feels like it's always kind of my fallback score, but I'm gonna give this one a two.
It is your fallback score for sure.
That's like my bare minimum of like it's still like it's on the lowest end of
Of watchability.
definitely still watch it 100%.
Yeah.
One and a half and below is when I'm like, oh Jesus, like I can't
Yeah. Would you
with this.
recommend this to other people?
If you saw the first one, I'm like, yeah, watch the second one.
Yeah.
It's not as good at
Yeah.
all by any means.
Yeah.
And it
If you're
does,
just craving more.
yeah, like just
Hmm.
have a little bit. It's not as good.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I can see why didn't they do kind of like a Halloween situation with like the requel where like that's the direct sequel? Like I don't know, I might like ignore the events of this one and the
Yeah.
one after.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So, you know what? If then, hey, as far as Hollywood's concerned, or as far as Jordan Peele's concerned, this one doesn't even matter anyway. So who cares? Just watch it and
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay, this is a funny little offshoot of what could
Yeah.
have happened.
Little side story.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder if, I'm sure it's not the case because I don't know, but like it would have been neat if the requel incorporated any ideas from the original screenwriter's original pitch for the sequel. Or I guess no, it wouldn't have
I
even had Candyman in it, so never mind.
well, I mean a little bit. I feel like it could in its own way, but yeah, then it wouldn't have Candyman at all. But I like the
Yeah,
requel a lot. I'm actually a really big fan of it.
me too. We'll cover it at some point.
Yeah, we'll get to
Yeah.
it.
Okay, but yeah, two boos.
Okay.
How about you?
I have such mixed feelings on this one. I think I do myself a little bit of a disservice because am so much wanting to compare it to the first one, and I don't think that that's fair for a sequel. But what I will say is one of the things that I think makes Candyman so special is how he interacts with others, and specifically how he interacted with Helen
Yeah.
was like magic. And the attention to detail on how they stare at each other and, how he speaks to her and how she was like hypnotized half of the movie. Like, all of that is fucking wild. And I love that it's like kind of sexy, but also weird and uncomfortable. And this isn't the same thing. You can't get that vibe because that's literally like his great granddaughter.
Yeah.
So I had even watched like a couple like quick reviews
Great
of like
great granddaughter.
yeah, like quick reviews on YouTube of
No.
just like
Yeah.
random dudes that have made YouTube videos of like quick reviews of this movie. They didn't even like catch the plot. This one guy was like, I don't know, I thought Helen, was his Caroline and like that was the most important thing to him. And all of a sudden he's trying to start a romance with this woman. And I'm like, nope, that's not what's happening at all. It's not meant to be romantic, but then it also asks the question, what the fuck is he trying to do?
That's what I was asking. Like, so
Yeah,
what
so
is his goal?
no, that I think that is such a good question and really takes away a lot from this movie. And Annie just is meh, you know. She's like Helen had this like fire to her, and I think that's what made the first one so good is that Virginia Madsen, ugh, she's just such a star. But without shitting on the cast of this movie too much, I love the opening. I love Tony Todd and his performance as Candyman. I think he's so good at being just so creepy. Something that he does do really well that isn't reciprocated is when she's watching him kill Paul, when Candyman's killing Paul, he is not even looking at Paul one bit. He is looking her straight in the eyes
Cold.
straight in the eyes, but she's looking at Paul. Like he's enjoying watching her pain. That specific scene, like, I think is so the way that he just looks at her, like, you're fucking like you feel this bitch. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Practical effects are not great. Story really lags. The pacing's really bad. The, the characters' motivations are so fucking weird.
Yeah.
So I like they did what they did. It's a movie. I would leave it on in a hotel room, and I would recommend it to people who love Candyman or who love Tony Todd.
Hmm.
So I'll say that. I'm also going to give it two boos, but I was between a 1.5 and a two
Me too.
before we came into this conversation, but I pushed it to a two because I think I like more than I dislike overall, but the movie itself just isn't that great. So I'm gonna give it a two.
There you go. Hell
Yep.
yeah. Anything else you'd like to say about Farewell to the Flesh?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, I'm glad you remembered that last time I was keeping track of how many times we said the name through the podcast because I
You
did
did it
the,
again?
of course I did it again.
Ah,
And just like last time, like a perfect pro, I kept it right under the wire. I said it 4 times.
damn, you did that last time. It was four
I know.
times. Yeah, wow. Okay, how many times did I say it? So many times, I bet. Did you tally?
Oh yeah, I was taking tallies. Natalie, you said it 25 times.
Ooh, less than last time.
Less than last time, but
So
still
I made
enough
it like 15 less.
still enough to summon him 5 times over.
That's true.
So, I know just like fucking Annie, I know you don't believe that Zoom counts, but if I can see my reflection in something, which I can with this, yeah, nope. Not happening.
Ooh.
I was trying to do under, but I'm sure now if you listen back, there was one where I slip and I'm like, ah fuck. All right. That's why you keep a buffer. That's why you aim for three,
Yeah.
because in case that fourth one
Yeah, it's
happens.
probably smart. I just let it fly.
Oh, terrible.
I know.
All right, everybody. Just like a lot of words, like, as, language evolves and as we become, um, I think just more thoughtful people, we choose to remove words that are offensive or dangerous and just outright awful, out of our lexicon. I know it's something I've worked on plenty. Um, that'd be one of them. Just don't say it, especially in
Just
front of
don't
a
say it.
mirror.
Don't, yeah, don't say
Because you
it to
don't know
anyone.
who's fucking waving a mirror around. You don't know. Like I could see some
Mm.
like bullshit, be like, "Oh, dude, what?
I mean,
Do you
that would
need?"
be a little bit weird if someone was just waving a mirror around you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like maybe someone's moving in across the street.
Right.
They're just carrying a mirror in and you just happen to be
It's
saying it
fucked
over and
up.
over
You
again.
can't do that. Can't do that. It's not
You're like
fair.
fucking movers.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. So farewell to the flesh, farewell to you, farewell to our listeners for the time being. We'll see you next week. And that's it. All right, everybody. Three, two, one, go.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Candyman Farewell to the Flesh. If you enjoyed this episode, you could subscribe to our podcast and leave a 5 boo review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321ghostpod and give us a follow. And let us know if you'd like us to continue with this franchise. Follow us on Letterboxd at 321ghostpod to see our boo scores on all of the movies we've covered so far. Next week, we're taking it back to the 70s with Richard Attenborough's Magic. Thanks again for listening, and remember, don't say Candyman around any reflective surfaces just to be safe. The rules are a little loosey-goosey. 3, 2, 1, ghost.